Welcome back to the Midlife Wife Podcast. Today we have Katie Gibbons on. You're really going to love and learn from her. She is using her giftings and finance and money to serve other people, specifically couples. Her background started in banking and mortgage lending, moved to a homeschool and stay-at-home mama with a short stint in real estate. She's still a homeschooling mama, but also started using her giftings to bless other families. You're going to love this episode and hopefully learn a lot of things to help you make your paycheck work for you and behave. Welcome to the Midlife Wife Podcast, where we choose to rise with courage and successfully disrupt mediocrity to live insanely significant lives that light us up, while possibly still in our yoga pants with 3-day-old hair. Are you with me? Hey, I'm Katie Hallberg, top 20% realtor, turned real estate investor and broker, a top 6% network marketer, certified personal trainer, and lover of all things from the personal growth, nutrition, and health and wellness departments. I believe when we get out of our own way and let God show up, that's where the magic happens. I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's dig in to reviving your mind, body, and dreams. Katie, thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It's Katie and Katie. Katie and I know each other from working out. That's how we met. And I think that we have similar lights. And I learned that we're both Enneagram 3s.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And maybe that's
I'm a 2, 3, depends. I'm kind of trying to figure out which one, but I lean heavy 3. So
I have a 2 wing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk more about that Enneagram business.
Yeah, I think we need Enneagram episodes, and I need to invite and interview the different numbers on the show so I can plug you to be a guest back in on that.
Yeah, I would love it.
So I've seen you pivot. Like, I know your story before I met you. Super successful in the banking industry, achieving early, hitting all the marks, above and beyond, blowing the socks, off the industry, moving across the country, raising kids, a little bit of self-loss there, of identity, and pivoting and like, I'm going to try something different. And then it became real estate, which I'm also in.
Yes.
And that fizzled. And now you're back to your basics and your giftings. I feel like I've seen you rise and identify what gifts God gave you, and now learning how to give them back to Him through people.
Yes.
Which is beautiful. So tell us a little bit about your journey and who you are.
So you pretty much nailed it, Katie. That is true. So I was your typical go to college, get a degree, find a job, find a husband, buy a house, have some kids, right? Like, my life was a checklist, and I went through that very well. And at about the time that I felt like is this it? Is this all it's going to be? Was the time that we found out we were having, my younger son was diagnosed with special needs, and he was needing a high level of schooling. And I was climbing my way up in the corporate world, and he was kind of falling apart. My marriage was falling apart. I had another child that I feel like I was not able to give any time and attention to. And so I started to have a transformation about what is this life going to be about for me. And what happened there was that I turned to God, right? I fell on my knees and I said, Jesus, please come and rescue me. Like, I cannot keep going at this pace. And I was having some burnout with work, right? Because I felt like I was working so hard, and sure, I was doing a great job and I was getting a lot of accolades and pats on the back, but I felt like my personal life was suffering while that was happening. So I was almost living in 2 different existences. And what I realized when I got still and got quiet was that Jesus was actually calling me to be more of the wife and the mom that I had signed on to be. that I wanted to be desperately as I was young, but I just didn't think that that was good enough. That being a mom simply was just not what society was going to hold in high regard. And I would never really get anywhere if I just did the mom thing or the wife thing. And so there was a shift that began to occur, which then led to us saying yes to some opportunities that I would probably have not said yes to, including that move across the country, leaving all of our family and just kind of saying, I'm going to quit my job. We're going to move and we're just going to see what happens next. And so that's what I did. And yes, the real estate.
Great.
So, I feel like I kept going back and forth on what I was supposed to be doing and what I needed to be doing versus what my heart was telling me. And I got my real estate license pretty easily, simply because I had such that strong banking foundation, and I had been a lender for years. And so that was sort of an easy fit. And again, I was in that mentality that I just need to do something that I can do to make money. And I don't disclose this very often, but when I did move to Texas, I started applying for jobs that I was in. So I started applying for banking roles and manager roles, and I got 40 declinations, 40 rejections. And that was extremely humbling and hurtful all at the same time. And I do believe that that was God saying, this is not what I want for you. So if you're not going to listen to me and follow me, I'm going to take these opportunities away.
We're not going to do exactly what we were doing. That was not the intention of this move. Correct.
Yes. But, habitually, that's where I wanted to be. That's what I kept going back to. Yes. Because I knew that, as a strong, independent woman, I wanted to make money. I wanted to provide to my family financially. And again, I was still kind of in that being a mom is not quite enough. It's just not going to be prestigious enough for me. And again, then that's when the real estate license came, and I tried that. And really what I found was I could be good at it, but I don't know that that's what God put me on earth to do. Yeah. Because what I wanted to do when I had real estate clients was I wanted to talk to them about money. I wanted to learn, I wanted to talk to them about where was their money coming from, and are they sure they had done a budget, and are they sure that they could afford the houses we were looking at? And I wanted to be a part of the lending side. And I really just sort of paid attention and said, well, I could be a good real estate agent, and I do know a lot about real estate. Is this where my gifts and talents are best used? And again, I had to kind of come to terms with that. And I almost looked at that as a failure, right? Because everything I've ever done or set out to do, I've been really good at. And I wasn't as good at it as I thought I could be. And so I had to kind of process.
Yeah. So many women just are like, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? I feel lost. Is this it? But they don't get to that next step on identifying their gifts and their talents and their purpose. How did you figure that out, Katie?
Well, I had heard a podcast or read a book or something like that. But I do spend a lot of time in meditation and prayer. Like that's a big part of my life. If you know me, you know that about me. But in that podcast where the person was saying, ask the people around you what you're good at. So I picked 5 people that I know love me unconditionally. And I asked this question. I said, what is one thing about me that you wish you could have in your personality or your toolbox? Like, what is one way that you look at me and you think, oh, Katie has blank, and I wish I had that? And overwhelmingly, the answer was something to the effect like, you're a good listener. You care what people have to say. You really tie what people are feeling and you help them name that, and you help kind of work with them on what their goals are, what they want. And I kept hearing that over and over. And then I realized that people call me to ask me advice, and they want to know what I think. And so that's really what opened the door for me to think about that I could use my knowledge of banking and finance and help coach and counsel people to their desired goals and dreams when it came to their money.
I just love that, because we do, and you did, and I do, keep doing the thing that we think we're supposed to do. We should on ourselves. Like, this is what I should be doing because I can make great money in real estate. I should do that, versus what am I supposed to be doing? Who am I to be serving and doing? What are my gifts and talents? And uncovering that is just a blessing. What is something that you wish you would have known before you started that career back in Louisiana and banking and getting all the accolades? If you could talk to that Katie now and starting that career, what do you wish you would have known?
I really wish that I would have focused on my gifting. Truly, in that time of my life when I was picking a career, I was trying to get out of the life I was in. And so when I say that, I meant I was a child of a single mom living in a trailer park in a small town. And the only way that I could see out of that situation was to make the most money I could, and to have a career and to kind of get into that mode, because that's all I knew. That's all I knew, that if I worked really hard, then I could achieve, I could earn money, and I could have a different type of lifestyle. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I did. I wish that Katie that had ideas of being, so I was originally in education. So I had the heart of a teacher. I knew I had the gifting of really being someone that gave good advice and listened. So I had more of that coaching counselor personality, if you will. And I really wish I would have sort of dug into that a little bit more. But at 20, I was 21 when I graduated from college. So at 21, I didn't really have enough life experience to know kind of where I needed to go. But I do believe that gifting has been a part of why I was successful. As a banker, I just wasn't another banker. People would come into my office and would say, I just love that you listen to me and you educate me and you teach me. It just wasn't about a transaction for me. So that was always at the base of my success. I just didn't really know that until most recently, when I slowed my life down and made some very intentional decisions about what do I want for the next part of my life.
I love it. You help a lot of women. Like, it's kind of your focus. What have you noticed that women get wrong in their finances, or what do they struggle with? Do you see a theme that keeps popping up?
Yes. So I love that most people will tell me when they hear that I do financial coaching or I have a financial background, they say, oh, I don't do good with money. I'm not good at math. Right? That's like the first thing they say, like, I'm not good at math. And what I kind of chuckle to myself, and then I say, well, managing money has more to do with behavior than it does with knowing how to add and subtract. 80% of finance and personal finance is behavior driven. The other 20% is the stuff you can learn in a book or online or what have you. And so really, I think that a lot of women in general are just not very confident when it comes to managing money. And I have a few theories as to why that's the case, but I believe overall they worry about money, they want financial security, but they just don't feel confident managing it, talking about it, because it's not something, money and money struggles is really taboo. I mean, we're just learned to never talk about money. You don't talk about your salary. You don't, it's considered bragging. And I'm from the South. And so as a Southern lady, we surely don't talk about that stuff on the streets.
And it's usually for the men. The men folk take care of the money, right? The stereotypical Southern American, it's a gender role as well.
Right. Yeah. And in fact, I have a friend that I was talking to a few years ago, and, I manage the money in my house naturally, and she doesn't. And she did not even know her passwords to be able to get into online banking. She really had no idea what the balances were. She didn't really know much about money. I mean, she spent it, she knew how to spend it, and she stayed within whatever she and her husband had kind of agreed upon, but really had no idea of how money came in and out and how much. And I saw this in banking a lot too, particularly a woman who would maybe be recently widowed. They really, came to the bank going, I don't know where to start. I don't know what we had. And, I always try to make, particularly when I was working with couples, to make sure that both parties knew fully where all the money was and who to call and how to kind of handle it should something go wrong. But I saw that so often.
So interesting to me. But yeah, I see it changing, but I also see it staying the same. So if you had an extra $1,000 a month, what would you do with it? You personally, right now,
Me
today.
personally, if I had $1,000 a month,
Extra.
I would invest it in myself.
What does that mean?
So I would, I have a couple of different goals. I have some business goals that I'm trying to achieve. And I definitely know that in order to start a business or grow a business, you have to continue to reinvest in yourself, in personal growth development, business growth and development. So that would be probably a piece of it. And, I am of the mindset that if we can get to a place where we have our personal financial house in order and we're kind of working through a goal, then we can give our money away and it can go to really good things. I do believe that when we give, it just brings so much joy and fulfillment. So if I had $1,000, assuming that all of my goals had been met in my own household with personal savings, college funds saved for and all of that, I think that's where I would spend the complete extra money that I'd get.
I love the generosity component. It is part of many faith backgrounds. And I'm also a Christian, but I read a book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, who is a practicing Buddhist. And one of the laws is generosity, that if you want to receive money, you want to receive love, you want to receive anything, you must give. It is a living circle, and to participate in it, you have to contribute to it. It's a good one. I love it. Okay, so you're right on. You're learning and growing, which leads me to a great question I ask I think everybody that I interview on here, because it's good to know. Readers are leaders. What are you reading right now?
So I'm getting ready to finish Jamie Ivy's new book, You Do You. So I like that one a lot. And then I have one coming in the mail today. I cannot remember the name. Something about parts. It's a growth and development book about, just kind of identifying the different parts of you, kind of working on, healing some old wounds and such. So we'll see.
That's good stuff. Lots of limiting beliefs. You're talking about behaviors, and it's not just like where you invest your money, but it's those blueprints and programmings that we have in ourselves, whether we're wanting to create a business, or we want to be the best mom, or we want to be the best wife. We all are operating under some foundational blueprints that were programmed into us, unwilling, just we were children and growing up in different environments, and teachers spoke into us, good or bad, and being able to recognize the good ones to keep and fertilize, and the weeds to pull is so important. I love it.
Yeah. And that's what I see a lot. I work with couples a good amount mostly. And there are so many beliefs about money and finances. And so then when you marry together and you marry your finances, there can be so much conflict, which is why money problems remain the number one reason for divorce. It's because we come into a relationship with our own relationship with money that's been kind of handed down to us a lot of times generationally. And so that's why I like reading books about personal development and about really kind of understanding, cognitively why we do the things we do, why we behave the way we behave. Because as I'm meeting and coaching clients, again, a lot of our work is about money behavior. And yes, we do budgets and we do goals, and I help them with, practical money. But a lot of it is learning how to develop conversation and dialogue about money and the things we want and the things that are important to us, and then the stumbling blocks along the way, and how, if I can combine, helping you with your money to do some great things, but also help you create conversation, better conversation, and ultimately connection, then I have done my job. And I feel like that is what God wants me to do. I think he uses, we kind of come out of some money challenges, and we were 3 years in therapy, almost on the edge of, really on the edge of divorcing. And, there's so much there that I love helping people continue to stay connected, and money within a relationship can really divide us. And so, that's really where my heart is focused when I help people with money.
It's so true. I remember when I got married, I had my best month in real estate the same month, or just right after, maybe the first month after marriage. And I was paid $20,000, and I was 25 years old. I was like, whoa, like some people like make this in a year, And I was like, this is my money. And my husband was like, this is our money. And it was a pivotal conversation early in marriage, where we definitely knew that we wanted to blend our income and build wealth and share expenses and income together. But my mind was like, mine. I had been in this industry for 2 years prior to marriage, and then got this great amount of wealth in 1 month. It was definitely an inflection point in our marriage.
Yes.
And our finances, for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And you if depending on how that first interaction goes, can really set a tone for the life of a marriage. And so when clients are working with me, sometimes we're backtracking through that journey and along that financial path. And so it gets kind of interesting, really.
You're a marriage counselor.
Well, technically I can't say it, but
oh no, I know. Through the real estate house shopping days of my past, it is a lot of communication and expectations. Okay, so you've done a journey. I love that you shared your journey about pivoting and finding yourself. It's amazing. What do people get wrong about you?
What do people get wrong about me? They probably think I have it all together. I think maybe, I think on paper it all looks great. Right. Mm-hmm. But I guess behind the scenes, we're all still, we're all on a journey. We all have personal goals and things we want to accomplish. I'm still a mom and I homeschool. So I have doubt about, am I doing the right thing or am I enough? Right. I still worry about, am I enough? Am I enough to all the people? Slowly shedding that limiting belief. But I think that people probably think, well, she's lucky, she's this, she's that. And, I think that maybe they get that wrong. I certainly don't have it all figured out.
None of us do. No matter how pretty their profile looks or their pictures look, nobody has it all together. No matter how much money they have, no matter how their body shape looks, their house looks like it. We all are souls on a journey, definitely. Yep. Thank you for being in this podcast with me, Katie. I love it. I am going to share how you can connect with Katie in the show notes and links to her, how to find her, whatever she wants to share with me. We'll put it out there and she can, you can connect with her and get financial help from her and connect with her if that is in your needs.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Katie.
Now, before you go, if you found value in today's episode, if you connected with something or felt inspired in any way, pretty please take a screenshot for me and post it up in your Instagram and Facebook stories, and be sure to tag me, because together we can inspire, encourage, and empower others to live amazing intentional lives. Yes, we can. Let's do it.